in South America and the Middle East. Some of these emerging forms of Satanism are allied with TST, and some are not. Some reject supernaturalism as TST does, and some do not. But many of these groups have emulated TST in seeking a public platform and a degree of social engagement that is largely unprecedented in the history of religious Satanism. A decade ago, Satanists marching in gay pride parades, adopting highways, or running donation drives to aid the homeless would have been considered an absurdity. Today, such activities occur around the world. This book, therefore, seeks to do two things. First, there is a need for a detailed history of TST. This history is short, but far more complicated than the casual observer may suspect. The media has reported sporadically on TST, providing arresting headlines for their campaigns and provocations, but little context. I have already seen a number of legal and theoretical arguments put forward regarding TST, but without an understanding of what TST is or where it came from, these arguments will be counterproductive. I have attempted to provide a history that is comprehensive, if not exhaustive, that includes details that might otherwise have been lost and arranges them into a coherent narrative. Second, I hope to show how TST's provocations are affecting our national conversation about important issues. TST punches above its weight due to its ability to draw media attention, its creative use of the legal system, and its tactical manipulation of its opponent's rhetoric. Due to these factors, TST has a real effect on how we talk about religion, morality, and what a religiously plural democracy ought to look like. There is already a body of scholarly literature on religious Satanism, but I think TST shows why Satanism has wider implications and should be taken more seriously by religion scholars. Researching this book took far longer than any project I have previously done. In order to see the full range of discourse surrounding TST, I set up a daily news alert for the word satanic. Each morning, I went through all the local news segments, blog entries, and editorials discussing TST. Working over a period of years, I created an archive of over 2,600 news items. I did ethnographic observation with TST chapters in San Marcos and Austin, Texas, as well as in Salem, Massachusetts and Little Rock, Arkansas. I also conducted research interviews with over 50 people spread across 15 states, as well as the United Kingdom and Australia. With many of these individuals, there were second and even third interviews. Many people interviewed for this book used pseudonyms for safety reasons. I have tried as much as possible to protect the identities and privacy of my informants. Because TST often requires its leaders to sign non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, I should mention that I never signed an NDA and was never asked to do so. Several months into the ethnographic phase of my research, TST went through a major schism and several chapters left to become independent. As a scholar of new religious movements, it was an interesting experience to watch a religious group splinter before my eyes. While witnessing this was exciting from a pure research perspective, it was very painful for everyone involved. Several of my interview subjects exhibited signs of anxiety and depression, and at times I felt depressed myself. Some approached me for follow-up interviews about how they were feeling, and at times I felt more like a confessor than an ethnographer. Unfortunately, the schism affected my relationship with my research subjects, as some saw this book as an opportunity to set the record straight about what had happened. It is said that history is written by the victors, but bending the ear of the historians is itself a form of victory. I have tried to be as neutral as possible and to respect the experiences described by my informants. At any rate, this book is meant to be the first word in a scholarly conversation about the history of TST.